Welcome back to the most audacious EMS podcast on planet Earth, the Paramedic AF Show. We're here to challenge, encourage, and sometimes hurt your feelings. This isn't for the weak, the woke, or the apathetic. This is a show for the ones who show up and give a damn, the bold and the brazen. So stand up, stay vigilant, and enjoy the show.
Just do the thing.
We don't even really do the thing anymore. It's more just like, hey, what's up? You know, like we don't have our... And welcome to the Paramedic AF Show. I'm Daniel.
And I'm Michelle.
Hey guys, what's up? Having a little nostalgia. It's so funny, like, going back and doing the throwback episodes, like the little tiny things that we would do, like, that we don't do anymore. It's kind of funny.
Well, I mean, I still verbal stroke.
But not as much, though. Like, not as, like, obviously.
Yeah, but think about what we fixed. We fixed my sleeping. That's going to help.
We're fixing.
Well,
it's not
yeah,
fixed yet.
It's not fixed.
Not yet, no.
It's
not
slightly improved.
Can you believe that November's almost done?
No.
Like, this is it. Like, we've got one more episode after this, November's done.
The fact that we've been doing this for almost a year is wild.
Yeah, it's a little strange.
So, guys, we did something super cool today.
We took the pot and we just had to stir it and stir it. No, not quite, not really.
Publicly. Very
Kind
publicly.
of. Well, sort of.
I mean, sort of, kind of publicly.
Yeah. So, some of you followed on our page the stuff with the paramedic program locally that's closing, the one that Michelle and I both came from. And today was the area commission meeting for that college. So all the powers that be that have anything to do with that place were all there, including the president and vice president of the college, the vice president specifically, who has kind of led the charge to close the program, and his bosses were there. So that was kind of fun.
I had already had a one-on-one, like, head-to-head crawl up some butts meeting. So today, Daniel spoke to the area commission, and we did record that. We have shared it if you haven't seen it. So we're kind of flying high on that energy.
Well, and in all fairness, for when you watch it, I didn't come prepared to talk directly. Like, I thought some other people were going to be there that were going to talk, and then we find out, oh, no, just kidding. We're like the main ones.
Well, and they wanted one person.
They preferred one person. Like, when I got up there, they were like, so who all was speaking? I was like, oh, nope, just me.
Yeah.
Y'all said one. Sorry.
We were told one.
Yeah, so they were like, oh, try and keep it to 3 minutes.
It didn't stay to 3 minutes.
No, it didn't.
They easily could have cut you off, though, but you were so captivating, like, with the information that most of them did not receive. They were like, holy shit, tell me more. Yeah,
so it was a very good day. I didn't cuss. I was proud of myself. I made the whole thing and didn't cuss. I was a little worried, like when I started thinking about it after they didn't cut me off, but kind of like, hey, like, I went on for about 7 minutes. And they were gracious and polite about it, but I thought for a split second, I was like, wait a minute, did I fucking cuss and piss them off? And like, and they're like done with it. And no, they didn't. So it was fine. It was good. I mean, it was a good response. There was a lot of people who were like, I didn't know about all this. I didn't know about all these things.
But this right here goes to show that the general public needs to know more about EMS, and we need to be, I wouldn't say more forthcoming, but I also presented, pick a word, at a career day at our children's school. They have elementary and middle school housed together. And obviously, children don't know a whole lot, but the amount of feedback that I got from the administrators and the teachers there were also like, oh my God, I have no idea. Like, one, that y'all do this. Two, oh my God, your pay.
I'm still baffled at some of the stuff they let you show. Like, I was like,
oh my God. Yeah. Some of the pictures and stories, I was like, I'm pretty sure, like, they asked for my presentation the week before career day.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I was telling Daniel about it and showing, like, our kids some of the pictures that were there, because our kids aren't in middle school yet, Daniel was like, they let you show this? And I was like, yeah, we're pretty sure they didn't actually check the presentation.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering about that. I was like, I remember when I was in high school and came down for a criminal justice camp down here, and like there had to be like trigger warnings for some of the pictures that we were
I
going to
put
see.
well, but that may have been why I got away with it because I put multiple trigger warnings
Okay, fair,
in the
fair.
presentation. It was like graphic, look away, this, that, all the rest of it.
Yeah, which none of those kids are going to look away.
A
Like,
couple of the girls looked away in one of the classes and they were like, and I was like, okay. But most of the kids are like, oh my God.
Jesus.
Anyways, so that's an update that we have done in the past literally 2 days. That has been, well, less than. That has been the last like 36 hours of our lives. We have packed on top of both of us have been working the past 2 days.
Mm.
We never stop.
No, we really don't. Well, but it's and I don't know, like, and normally, we didn't, a lot of the stuff that we posted about this, we posted on our private pages. We didn't post on EMS 2.0. And the reason we engaged on this a little bit more is because advocacy is something that we should be doing a lot more of. We should be engaging a lot more in, not just, lobbying groups going to Capitol Hill or to your state representatives, but the smaller battles. Well, I say smaller, but like smaller scale battles, not smaller importance.
Well, we should be fighting for better education.
Mm-hmm.
We should be reaching out to the general public so they know what we do. I mean, how often have we talked about how, Night Watch shows some of the bad calls that we do, but it's not like a true representation of what we do.
It's not.
Most of the general public doesn't know the skills that we can do, the stuff that we deal with, but also the, pedophile calling for toe pain at 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah, and it's and this is the kind of thing too where I think it's another example of you need to push back. And there's a way to push back without, and we've talked about this in I think it was in the conflict episode, the To Fight or Not to Fight was one of y'all's favorites from the early days.
The early days 6 months ago.
Yeah. A little more than that. This was like 10 months ago.
Yeah, I know. That was first 4. Yeah, probably the 5th episode.
The point being, what you imagine the negative effects of standing up against any kind of, wrongdoing or corruption or abuse of power or whatever you imagine the after effects are going to be, they're probably not actually going to be that bad in all reality. Like, back when this whole thing started a month ago, dealing with all of this drama about the program over a month ago, we were loud. Like, we've been loud and obnoxious.
We're still loud. I mean, I still tag and comment things.
Yeah, but our jobs didn't care. At least none that they told us. And obviously, we didn't involve them in it because it didn't need to be done. We weren't speaking on their behalf. We weren't, attacking them or roping them into anything. No, we just left them out of it. But even in places where I've worked, whenever I've gone toe to toe with somebody, there's abuse of power, there's a problem. If you do it the right way, you pick the right battles, you would be amazed at how far you can go. And with what I did today, because I had like zero prep time for this, so I'm sitting I'm like, thank God that they're doing the whole meeting before I have to talk. Because I'm sitting there I wasn't saying a word. I was like just sitting there in like this meditative state with my hands, like thinking through all of this shit. And I was like, I don't want this to be a personal thing. Because if I make it personal in the sense of attacking someone into a person, because there were 1 or 2 people on there who, anyway. But instead, bringing to light a blend of facts and also the legitimate emotions involved, and showing people that there's so much more at stake for what's happening. And when you do that, you create a situation where they can't be mad at you for speaking the truth directly. But since you're not making a personal attack, their ego doesn't get inflamed as much. And when instead you can show them like, hey, this is hurting you, not just me, this is hurting you, then, hey, guess what? Magically, they're not going to kick and scream and fuss and try and fire you, or fire you in this case.
Well, yeah, everybody was receptive, and a lot of people came up and not really like asked questions, but was like, thank you for telling us. We had no idea, which goes to show a lot of people make decisions based off finances and not what is actually the best for whatever.
Yeah. Well, and that's the conundrum that EMS is going to be in, is EMS is not a money-making field.
It's not.
So pretty much 9 times out of 10 you're going to be operating at a loss.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of one of those. It's like all EMS business is bad business because we don't make good money from it now.
Which we did a podcast on.
Yes, and it's not that you can't find creative ways to generate revenue in public service. And no, I don't mean, raising the quotas for tickets. Or billing people for waivers, shit like that. There's other ways that you can, especially in this day and age. Like, there's so many different creative ways you can make money, and so that, we should be exploring that as an industry more. But anyway,
that's like a whole other episode, which I didn't mean to start us down this tangent.
No, but it's good.
We've had a very busy 2 days that we wanted to share with you guys. I'm sure we'll talk more about it.
Yeah.
But for the meat of this episode.
Well, speaking of meat,
oh my God, stop.
we kind of wanted to, like, I guess, I don't know, ask a question, this whole No Nut November thing. Like,
I think didn't it start as something else, and then it went to like No Shave November. I remember when it was No Shave November when I was like in school.
That was the progression of the Movember.
Well, yeah,
Movember went from, it was No Shave November to something to do with mustaches, and then it became Movember.
Yeah.
So they still, the mustache is still like a part of their, like, identity, I guess.
Mm-hmm. But now it's No Nut November, and I hear a lot of people talking about it, and I don't understand.
Well, for some people, it's turning into No Nut for 4 years.
Oh my God! Don't go there. Okay, don't go there.
But like, I don't understand you guys, you people, like, especially you guys. Like, okay, you're gonna not nut for a whole month, like, especially if you're in a relationship, really.
But my question is why?
Yeah.
Why? There's actually no health benefit to it. I've seen a couple where they argue that, like, you hold on to your testosterone and blah blah.
Oh my God, the no fappers, like,
yeah, it's something like that.
God.
But
they're a cult. Like, they're straight up. The no fappers are a cult. Like, there's something wrong with you guys.
Yeah. I think honestly, I can't imagine anybody that actually successfully makes it.
Oh, I know some people.
That honestly, genuinely.
Well, so it's funny. My little brother tried to do that. He tried to do this whole no fap thing. I was just like, oh, okay, you're my brother. I know good and damn well that's not going to happen.
Stop.
What?
How did that end?
Well, it finished all right. But anyway.
We are not participating.
This is also my brother who may or may not have got something from a $20 hooker one time.
Stop it. I know the story.
Yeah. Anyway, but
we're all for the men, the Movember, I guess the No Shave November. Daniel's not shaving his beard.
No shave year round, motherfuckers. Like, sorry.
You shave your head.
Okay, I'm talking about the beard specifically.
No, please don't shave the beard.
Yeah, no, I look creepy without a beard. It's nasty. I might attach a picture to this. I might not. We'll see. We might scare off a few subscribers. But, speaking of which, more of y'all need to subscribe, because I know there's plenty of y'all who are watching that aren't subscribed. So subscribe, help us out, especially on the YouTube channel. Come on, y'all. It's literally clicking a button. I know you subscribe to shit on TikTok too. Don't worry, that's coming. We're getting there. But
we're trying to get all of our content.
Yeah, we're still working on that. It's coming.
But
unlike the people who are doing No Nut November. Anyway. Well, and maybe that contributes to people's seasonal depression. If you can't nut for a whole fucking month, like, I'd be kind of fucking depressed too.
We don't do. No, I'm just gonna stop. I'm just gonna.
Well, but in all seriousness, seasonal depression's a real thing. And,
I was talking about the No Nut November.
Well, yeah.
But yes, yeah. Since we're moving into the winter months, we had put out on the page. Actually, it was the Discord page.
It was the Discord server, yeah.
The Discord server talking about, do you have seasonal depression? Coping mechanisms, stuff like that. And it's actually something that we wanted to talk about, because it's funny. Daniel and I get more, I guess you say, moody in the hot months than the cold months. I find some semblance of comfort with, like, the dark, cold, like, wind, like, just give me a cozy blanket, coffee, hot chocolate, whatever, in a blanket, and a man. Daniel.
I'm her
And
heater.
yes, he literally, like, sometimes it's way too much.
Summertime's a little rough.
Yes. But for some people, the seasonal depression, it's called SAD. No, literally, it's called SAD. It's seasonal,
Is it affective disorder?
maybe.
Let me Google it while we're keep talking. I'm gonna Google it.
Literally, it's SAD. It's I think it is seasonal affect disorder.
Yep, seasonal affective disorder.
Yeah.
It is actually an ICD-10 code.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I figured it was, maybe it was like DSM or something, but it's actual ICD-10 billable code.
Mhm.
I must start trying to find that for some of our.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
I'm not mocking the people that do have it. I'm just saying, there's those bullshit patients where you're just like, there's really nothing applicable here. Like, this could be a good option for you.
I usually go with malaise, but okay.
Well, but my favorite, I know we've talked about this before, my favorite is excessive crying, parentheses, non-infant.
Yes.
That is my favorite symptom ever.
Anyways, we
that and low self-esteem. Sorry, when you pair the excessive crying non-infant with low self-esteem, it's just like paints the perfect picture of this does not need to be a 911 call. Yeah. But on a serious note, seasonal depression.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's interesting because I freely admit that I personally don't relate to that super well because like I look at life cycles, and when you look at the seasons as a mirror of actual living being life cycles, yes, it's a time of death. Everything dies. All the plants are dead. People's attitudes apparently. All the leaves are gone. Like,
all I could think of is the video meme that goes, "I'm alive. I'm
dead. I'm alive again.
I'm dead." I'm sorry when you said the life cycle. I'm sorry. It's not funny. Continue.
We're an EMS. You guys can laugh at it. We can laugh at it. It's fine. It's fine. We all enjoy a little bit of dark humor.
I was saying making light of a serious topic.
Yeah. So it's just what we're experts at. But we were. Like, to me, I look at it as I appreciate a certain amount of the, not self-destruction, but like there's something pure and purging about wintertime and letting go of a lot of shit. And, to me, like, I love, it's not spring cleaning for me. It's winter cleaning. Like, I love deep cleaning the house, getting in shape, like, I mean, all of that.
Hide under long sleeves. I love my job shirt. But I mean, yes,
I do too.
If I'm going to clean out the house or clean out my car, I'd rather stand in the cool/cold weather than sweating my ass off in minimum clothing outside in the summer heat.
What is that little shithead doing back there?
He's burying himself under books.
You know what? I'm just going to leave this in. Like, people can just enjoy this little part of our lives. I'm going to go deal with this cat.
You mean Oreo, who's in my book? You might as well just shut it.
Well, but then I'm just going to have a side.
Oh! They dug in. Oh my god. Oh no.
Shit. That's bad.
They just got into the whatchamacallit, the entertainment center behind one of the sliding doors and literally made a pile of my fucking books.
Well, but there were. So it's one of those entertainment centers where there's like 3 shelves, but then 2 doors that just slide across all of them. So one is always open. So one of the dumbasses was in the middle, and I had to try and yank him out. And then I slide the one door over, and the fucking other one pops out that was like locked in the 3rd shelf.
Anyways, sad.
Yeah, get you some cats. It'll help with the seasonal moodiness and make it worse.
Damn. He's blaming pussy.
My God, take everything personally.
I mean, no, not November.
Oh my God. But seriously, with the seasonal depression, I almost said seasonal allergies. I'm so bad. So, with seasonal depression, the reason I put it out in the Discord, like trying to get some feedback from people, and I guess it's not a big thing, or people just don't want to talk about it. Of all the things that people talk about on there, like I think there was really only one person that had some feedback on it, which was great, and it was, for him, um, the the everything dying has some everything around you in the world resetting over winter. To him, it was something that triggered a lot of those memories and feelings of SI and trauma and a whole bunch of other stuff. And so I know we're so flippant about mental health a lot of times in this job. And especially if something we don't understand or we think is not as important. Because, like I said, I don't relate well to if anything, for me, it's the exact opposite. I get agitated during the summertime. Like I'm not as much fun in the summertime as I am in the wintertime. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't take it seriously and shouldn't learn more about it and ask people about it and be aware of those things that are, because there's anniversaries that are involved in it that you may not recognize. Like with him, there's some trauma anniversaries tied into stuff.
Well,
And
and something too, like a lot of people collectively, regardless of what your, like, I guess you say religious beliefs are, um, everybody celebrates Thanksgiving and Christmas in some form or fashion. Like it
yeah,
is the holiday season, regardless of where your origin beliefs are. And for, I don't know, 99% of the people, everybody acts happy, but that may not be a true deep down thing. I mean, how much did I hate Thanksgiving and Christmas and my birthday and all the rest of it before we made it a good thing
mm-hmm,
because of bad family experiences? Because you have so much stuff going on that it's like, I really don't want to do
yeah,
this. Like,
yeah,
family traditions that aren't good. So when we talk about seasonal depression, I've heard about it mostly with like the fall and winter when it's getting cold, when it's getting dark, when you have all the holidays. Um, but also it's not just how it affects us. How many times do we see? I know I share it most years for not just me in public service, but also the general public. How hard is it on us to work on Thanksgiving and Christmas and whatever other Christmas and or sorry, birthdays and holidays that are in this area or this time of year? And we're away from our families, and then we are called out for a 911 call, and we have to work a cardiac arrest and pronounce somebody dead for another family on Thanksgiving or
mm,
Christmas or whatever. So I mean it is a lot of emotion, even though you and I, love the weather and etc. It can be a heavy time of year.
I can see it more from a family perspective, but in a different way than what your associations are with it.
Mhm.
So growing up, holidays, I mean, the winter holidays were the shit. Like we had so much food. I mean, the Christmas morning was like a Toys R Us unboxing at my house. Like
It was
there
a
was shit
marathon.
everywhere. Like literally, it would take us a good hour and a half to open presents. Like it was a production. But it wasn't just that. It was we were home. Like we spent all of Christmas Day. We never left the house. It was like a sin to leave the house on Christmas Day for anything, unless it snowed, which it really never did in Northern Virginia, hardly. But and Thanksgiving was like the like primo extended family holiday. Like all the aunts and uncles and cousins would get together. Like that Thanksgiving and New Year's was joint, like all the extended family, and then and 4th of July. But Christmas was always like standalone family, nuclear family.
Mhm.
And so that was my life for many, many, many years. And when I moved down here, I started a family of my own, and the traditions weren't the same. Like because I was closer to the in-laws and spent more time with them. And it wasn't like it was bad. It was just different. Like it was a different atmosphere, and I didn't deal well with it. And then life happens. My family and I had some fallings out. Things are being worked on now, but there was a number of years where I didn't have any family, nothing on the holidays. And so on the holidays when I didn't have my son, because we would alternate holidays, I would work usually.
Mm-hmm.
And I would encourage you guys, those of you who don't have family or just don't want to be around your family for whatever reason, because family can be toxic too.
Yeah.
And that's okay. And sometimes part of dealing with this is cutting off your toxic family.
Honestly, I feel like family has the potential to be even more toxic because, like, what I was taught growing up is, blood is thicker than water, which, basically gave certain parts of my family license to just treat us however the fuck we want. If you were abused, tough shit, we're family. Oh, your friends, they don't care about you. Oh, Daniel, he's a psychotic narcissist. Like,
I love that one. I was like, I'm a lot of things. I'm a lot of things. I've done a lot of dumb shit, but like, I heard that. I was like, really?
Psychotic narcissist. I was like, okay, so cutting off family is fine. But I do want to say the blood is thicker than water is a
bastardization.
There we go. Of the original quote, which was the water of the womb. No, the blood of the bond is not thicker than the water of the womb, indicating. Did I just say that backwards?
I think you said it backwards, yeah.
Fuck. Blood of the bond is thicker than water of the womb. So the
No, you did say right. You did say right.
The bond of blood, like blood, sweat, and tears, like relationships that you make, tend to be thicker than the water of the womb, like, your blood family, because you're choosing to make those connections.
Yeah.
You're not just born into it that people get to treat you however the fuck they want.
Yeah. Yeah. So I understand that, like, but I would encourage you guys who don't have family to be around, or if you're in the situation like I was in where you're, a single parent and your kids are with the other parent for the holiday, and if you don't have any family to do stuff with, go offer to work for the people that do have kids. And I hate the response that people will say was like, well, they chose to have kids so they can deal with it. Motherfucker, we're all trying to work and get by.
Well, you're somebody's child. So I mean, if you want to go that way, like, damn.
Yeah. Well, and it's just it. Yeah, it was those people's decision to have children. You can't always help your schedule though either.
Yeah.
And especially in this job where we have to work holidays, and there are certain schedules that I've worked where it literally, a work day landed literally on every holiday. And especially for someone like me who, hey, I would only get my kid like, one solid holiday a year, the way things originally were kind of working out.
Well, when I was a single parent, before you and I got together, there was one stretch where I worked every single holiday for 4 years and nobody would swap with me.
Yeah.
So, like, we basically had to try and sometimes succeed, but try to be like, hey, can we celebrate like Thanksgiving maybe, on Friday instead of Thursday? And everybody's like, well, we planned for Thursday. It's like, okay, cool, I won't be there.
Yeah. So all I'm saying is have some compassion for each other. There's no need to be a dick about that. Like, our own personal lives are so much more complicated than it's not other people's business what led to it being complicated. It's not their fucking business. So if you have the capacity to help somebody out, because think about it, you're not just helping them out, you're helping their kids out. Their kids want to have the holidays with their parents.
And we're not saying that you have to do it every year.
No, just, and it's not the like, oh, you have to do it or you're a shitty person. Just, if you can, consider it. Make any effort, be flexible for people. And it shouldn't just be a one-way street. There should be, I believe that there's an expectation, there is tit for tat. I personally don't require that. But if I ask someone for a swap, I am going to do everything in my power to make it up to them. Mm-hmm. Now, me personally, if someone asks me for a swap, I don't give a damn.
Yeah,
I don't give a fuck. Like, I'll swap with you. You don't I don't feel like you owe me anything back. Like, I'll help you out. It's fine.
Well, and I do have to say, with like the seasonal depression and everything, if you need like a mental health day, we need to normalize like taking time, taking a breather. Take PTO. Don't feel guilty. You earn that fucking PTO. Take PTO for a mental health day. But also, I wish, you know, shifts did more to be there for each other. Put up a little Christmas tree in your bunk room if you don't have one.
Absolutely.
Do Christmas lights or do something fun. Do a shift dinner, which I think, there should be some kind of effective team building throughout the year, not just during the holiday season.
Yeah.
But seasonal depression is a real thing, not just for us because of personal stuff, but I know it really hurts people's hearts to work on holidays knowing there's a potential to work, a respiratory or a cardiac arrest or something where we're going to have to give notification to a family. Like that gives some people anxiety just knowing what could happen. Not because we don't know how to handle a cardiac arrest, but because we know what it's going to do to that family,
Hmm.
especially during the holiday season.
I've done Christmas Day death notifications before.
Mhm.
That sucks. Like, and I'm pretty numb to death notifications because I've done
Entirely too many.
dozens, if not into the. I know I'm into the triple digits somewhere.
Mhm.
I've had a lot of dead people, but
Yeah.
have a little compassion on your coworkers, both understanding that for some people like me, I fucking love the holidays. I am a holly jolly motherfucker. Starting on Thanksgiving, Mariah Carey, you stay in that fucking ice box until fucking Thanksgiving Day.
Stop
You can
it.
come out that fucking night, and that's it. Don't want to hear your voice until then. You motherfuckers put that shit on the radio. Stop it. That's really literally one of my favorite part of the holidays of not working on an ambulance anymore is I don't have to deal with these you little fuckers that'll put on this Christmas music, in like late October.
I'll listen to Christmas music when we go look at Christmas lights.
You listen to Christmas music because I make you listen to Christmas music.
Yeah. When we go look at Christmas lights. Yeah.
Now, to be fair, I have very narrow taste in Christmas music. Like, it's Mannheim Steamroller, and then, like, a couple of other random songs, and that's pretty much it. So, yeah. But, seriously, be compassionate on your coworkers, both who are dealing with seasonal depression, who are dealing with family issues, who are dealing with not being able to see their kids. Be grateful for what you have, but also try and help them out as best you can. That turned into a much longer segment than I expected it would. I thought I didn't expect us to go off on that super personal tangent right there.
I mean, it happens. We are sometimes open books.
So, we want to switch gears a little bit. And so we're trying to do this more with the episodes, is have multiple topics, not just like deep dive on one thing and beat it to fucking death. We got a message from a listener of the show, and I have his permission to share this. And there's no names, there's no geographical identifiers, there's no patient identifiers,
No
there's
service,
no service
anything.
identifiers, nothing. We're all we're saying just generically is this individual is an EMT who works at a predominantly BLS agency, but responds to emergent calls and has paramedic intercept basically. And it's the message I want to read is fairly long, but it paints a picture of kind of one perspective of this, of dealing with, and again, this is only one side, so it's that's why we're not mixing names, is I don't even know who the other person is. Like, the other people involved in this, I really don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But it's showing a perspective of how paramedic providers can come across to EMTs and treat them poorly. And you have some examples of the exact opposite situation. We both do.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just a picking on one or the other. This is a problem for all of us.
Hey, everybody be better.
Yeah, isn't that kind of the point of what we talk about on here a little bit?
You would think.
Yeah. So anyway, I have not edited the grammar at all, so love you, buddy, but I'm just going to read it as is. I'm gonna try it. Should be fine. All right. Ran a cardiac arrest. He was telling me about the situation. I asked, was like, what happened? So this was his response. Ran a cardiac arrest. Showed up on scene with paramedic already on scene. Witnessed arrest. ALS has been on scene long enough to get in the house and put pads on the patient. And then he puts in parentheses, this medic doesn't move fast either. But has yet to do any compressions. I show up
What?
and ask, oh yeah. I show up and ask, what do you need? I get ignored. Another paramedic shows up, and they say a couple things to each other in our, special language, or special paramedic language. Then, very disgruntled, the original paramedic tells me, go ahead and try. So, mind you, this whole time, no one's been on the chest. It's a witnessed arrest, and nobody's gotten on the chest at this point. And he says, so I get on the chest. The entire time, the original paramedic is disgruntled and seems aggravated he's having to work it at all. Keep in mind, he's barely put hands on the patient. Lucas gets hooked up after a few minutes. For those of you who don't know what a Lucas is, it's a battery-operated CPR device. Fucking wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
For the old school guys, it's similar to the thumper. For the newer school guys, it's kind of like the Zoll Impulse machine.
It's a wonderful thing.
There are different schools of thought to that, but continue.
I love it. Lucas gets hooked up after a few minutes, quote, with no help from him. Airway is established, and now we're rocking with it. One of my firefighters, who is only EMR, is handed a capnography to hook between the bag and the eye gel. He doesn't know what to do, so I take it and hook it up and then explain what it's for, which is what all of us should be doing. Mm-hmm. All of us, you paramedics who are like, oh, well, they should know it. If they don't know, fucking show them. Make sure it's done properly. He doesn't know what to do, so I take it and hook it up and then explain what it's for, trying to teach him something so he understands. The original paramedic, again, just seems very aggravated and demeaning, like, I don't know what I'm doing, or like any of us are worthy of being in the room. I take the BGL because the wife said that the patient was a diabetic. Again, something he could have done, but he just stood there. Get Rosk and start talking about how we're going to move this patient. I make a suggestion. He makes a different one. I respond with, this is your show. We're just here to help. To which he responds, I know it's my show, and I'm telling you that's what we're going to do.
I would have come unfucking glued.
So I go get the backboard, and when I leave the room, he makes a similar comment again. Fire department moves the patient out of the room with no help from him, gets him out of the house, and to the stretcher, and then ignored. To the point we asked, y'all good? Thinking we could leave. They asked us to stay and return one of the ALS units. No big deal. Sorry, lost train of thought there. No big deal. Point of all that is to say this. We're here to help you. But if you're going to do shit, if you ain't going to do shit but bang your chest to show you're in charge, be a dick and belittle us with your attitude and behavior, then we'll leave. Don't be mad at us because you got to do your job. I honestly feel like if we hadn't been there, then that man's wife would be planning a funeral today.
So many things.
Do tell. I've already read it. Michelle hasn't heard this before.
So many things. Well, my question is, I want to know if the Rosk was sustained not just at the hospital, but he or is he walking out of the hospital with any kind of intact brain function?
I would assume since it's been witnessed, but
they say, but if you stay off the chest longer than 4 to 6 minutes, he's losing brain function to begin with.
It's a little unclear exactly how long the delay is.
Any amount is not okay. How fucking lazy. The whole banging, this is my show. Like, what the actual fuck? My question is, that day, was he with the fire department or was he on a transport truck?
That is an excellent question. I believe, understanding the context of where he's coming from, I believe he's on the ambulance.
Okay. Well,
pretty confident in that.
Either way, I guess it doesn't really matter. So this person is he is a wonderful EMT. Sure, me and him butted heads a little bit when he was in school, but he's a great person. I've loved working with him when I've done a special event. Like
He cares about it. He really
he
does.
cares so freaking much. And like as butting heads as he can be with people in general, he's always patient centered. So like I believe his point of view.
Yes.
Like that he's not exaggerating, he's not taking offense. And what kills me about it is one, especially with a witness arrest, like do your fucking job. You know, if you don't
Yeah.
want to do your job, don't be a paramedic.
Well, and
Leave.
so I have a couple of thoughts on that.
Well,
Well-
fire is also usually very efficient in moving people, so like let them do their fucking job.
Yeah, like
Especially if you're not going to help.
yeah. And I mean, I understand if it's close quarters, you have to make some, resource selection of who's doing what. I understand that. However, I have a couple of problems with this. One, and I don't stick to this as much recently, but historically, well, I say the reason I don't stick with it much now is because we have Lucases. And I believe that Lucases are consistent, both in rate, in depth, and all of it. It's great. But when there's not a Lucas in play, I don't call a patient until I have laid hands on them doing CPR on them. Obviously, if they're DOA, they're DOA. But if it's a workable arrest, doesn't matter. I am laying hands on that patient at least one round of CPR. At least. And for me and my conscience, that is my, okay, cool. Like, all of us here, we all equally pitched in. Like, that was just a personal thing for me. Now, with the Lucases, as soon as I get Lucas on, I don't give a shit who's doing compressions to start with.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand being disgruntled. I understand because there's some arrests where it's just like, oh my god, this just feels wrong.
Mm-hmm.
For whatever reason, but on a technicality, you should work them. And I'm not saying that being insensitive. I'm just saying there's literally some. There's some if they're down for a certain length of time. What are you saving?
Well, and if it's unwitnessed, if it's already asystole,
Yeah.
if they're cold, just various things where there's no, probability for brain function at all. An unwitnessed arrest already in asystole. Last, seen walking and talking, an hour ago at minimum or some shit like that. You're hurting my leg.
Well, and I understand there's some there was one cardiac arrest I had, the one I told you about before, where like
Bertha.
literally, so we laid this woman, she flash pulmonary edema, like she arrested literally right as I walked in the room, like I watched her take her last diagonal breath and she was done. And got her on the floor, laying supine. The back of her head sat about that far off the floor
because of the fat like
she was
behind her neck.
But it was, I mean, it was, and she was younger. I won't say an exact age. She was younger.
She was in her 40s, right?
I think it was younger.
Okay.
But it was at least somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm.
It was almost physically impossible for me to do adequate compressions on this woman's chest. I shit you not.
And Daniel's a big boy.
Like, I listen, I can throw down with some fucking CPR. Like, I'll be bouncing their fucking spine off the floor. But I'm still not 100% convinced that we were able to, like, fully crack her ribs. Like, it was that tense. And I don't know if it was because of the pulmonary fluid. That was just, it was so much of it that was pushing against us, but it was literally the most frustrating cardiac arrest on the planet. And we were in a little ass room with one of those like zigzag Z-shaped hallways that was maybe about 2.5 feet wide.
That should be illegal.
Yeah. So I was frustrated as fuck. We were all frustrated. Everybody on that call was like, dear fucking God, this is insane.
But here's the thing. I guarantee you, I wasn't there, but I guarantee you, regardless of the frustration, none of y'all were snappy and condescending. And
not at each other.
That's what I mean. Like,
yeah,
at each other.
No, we were just like,
yeah, no, I'm talking about your communication amongst each other.
Yeah, no, I mean we were all winded, but
yeah,
because
I got
Lucas
listening.
wouldn't fit. Yeah, Lucas wouldn't fit. So I understand that. I understand the like, oh my God, why are we doing this? You all could do it. Don't act like you don't. But do your fucking job.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, there's times, hell, even last night, there was one of those knife edge calls where it's like, yeah, you could make the case either way when you need to ALS this, and I was like, you know what, fine, I'll do it. And you know what, I didn't bitch about it. I didn't complain. Crew asked, I thought about it, made the decision. Okay, cool. We did everything. I was polite. I was nice. I did my paperwork. I went back to my station. It's fine. It's not fucking hard. Be a decent fucking human being, and stop this like, oh, me paramedic, me in charge. I fucking hate that shit.
Well, and here's the thing. I guarantee you every single one of us can think of somebody who has passed the test. This shouldn't have passed the test. And if they could pass the test, you're really not that special. What makes you, I guess you could say, special, or what makes you a good provider is how you treat other providers, how you treat patients.
Yes.
Because, everybody knows somebody, within a service is like, oh, if this paramedic could have passed, then you, EMT, who's getting ready to take your national registry, if that idiot could pass, then you're going to pass. Like, if we can say stuff like that to each other, especially because they're conducting themselves like idiots, you're not that special. Like, honestly, getting a paramedic, anybody could probably do it if they put enough effort into it. It's what you do with yourself after you get certified, after you take that test.
And I've beat that drum for a long time, that what makes you a quality paramedic isn't just your clinical capability, but it's your ability to interact with people. And yes, sometimes you need to have hard conversations with patients, and sometimes you just got to be like, okay, you ready to go to the hospital? Cool. Like, you don't need to turn everything into a fight, hill to die on. And at the end of the day, you do your job and treat your fellow responders with some goddamn respect.
I was going to say, I feel like we harp a lot on treating, as professionals, treating the general public, treating our patients well. But I think where a lot of people fall short is and I know we've talked about this multiple times, but for some fucking reason it keeps coming back up. I think it's Linda's not.
It's never gonna not come back up.
I mean, yes, but I also think it's Linda's not listening to the podcast, or being angry little bitches because they're not getting laid at home. They're having no nut all year, and
they get it on their birthdays. It's fine.
Or they don't. They just get a sloppy toppy once a year and then move on. But anyways, you're so welcome.
Starfish.
Anyways, my issue is the whole warring amongst certifications, and it's up and down. I can't remember if I shared or not, but I was called out, and this is on the EMT side. Like, paramedics, you act like fucking shitheads.
Do better.
Do better. Stop being arrogant. But here's the thing. EMTs or even EMRs are not at fault either. Or even I've had firefighters that are neither EMR or EMT. Literally, you ask them, hey, do you have any medical training? No, I'm a firefighter. It's like, okay, cool. But they want to try and tell me how to do my job. It's like, But I was called out to an overdose not breathing. Dude, man was actually at NO times 4. Didn't want to go to the hospital.
Shocker.
Right. Didn't want to go to the hospital. Family on scene was drunk as a fucking skunk. She was screaming at me that I was going to kill her dad and this and that. I was like, whatever. Well, the patient finally got tired of listening to the daughter and was like, fine, I'll go to the hospital. My foot hurts. We're like, okay, cool. So we get him in the fucking truck. And the EMT asked for a blood pressure cuff to take blood pressure. Well, his partner hands him a stethoscope. He goes, no, I'm just going to palpate. And I was like, but why? But okay.
I remember this.
Yeah. And he does, whatever. And then looks at his partner and goes, oh, it's 140 over 75. And I was like,
that's not how palpating works, buddy.
Well, not just that, but he literally said 75. He said an uneven number.
I know. I love it when they do that shit.
Uneven number.
Even when they auscultate, they'll do it sometimes. It's like, no, it's for the monitor to do that.
I know, but I looked at him and I was so taken aback. I was just like, you can't palpate a diastolic number. And before I even finished talking, he was already shaking his head.
Oh my God.
And literally he was like, yes, you can. I was like, excuse me? He goes, it's very difficult and it's a skill that not very many people have. Mind you, this dude, his arms look like beefcake and then his legs look like chicken legs, like he's never done a squat in his fucking life.
Motherfucker skipped leg day too many times.
And mind you, he's also shorter than me. And I mean, I know I'm relatively tall for a female, but like I was towering over this little fuck.
He's not chicken legs. He's a little Cornish hen.
I mean, yes, this Cornish hen little bitch.
He's a quail.
Then he literally tried telling me that he has skills that no one else does, and he had a really good instructor.
Okay. Nunchuck skills.
I mean, literally. And so then he looked at me. He goes, "I'll teach you." And I was like,
oh, "Okay."
I was intrigued. I was like, "What does this little bitch have to teach me?" But okay, mind you. I'm being polite because we're in front of the patient. And this child is literally talking to me how I'm describing it to you. Like with the attitude, dripping in sarcasm. I will teach you.
Yeah.
So I was like, please share. And he showed me, and literally it had nothing to do with palpation. He was waiting for the bounce of the needle to get it. And guess what? That is still not a completely accurate way to do it. You truly need auscultation to confirm what you're hearing. You can get close, but you're not going to get exact. Well, then he looks at me, he goes, "This is how you do it." I was like, "You're looking for the bounce." And he's like, "I have very sensitive fingertips." And
bullshit.
Get this. He literally told me, "I've never been wrong." Literally,
okay.
Literally at that point, I was just
that's
like,
cool.
Well, I chose not to argue because it was a fucking BLS call. The dude admitted that he is a drug addict, that it had been a few days, there were no signs, symptoms, and overdose. He wasn't even altered. He walked to the truck. It was BLS amongst BLS. So with that child, I was like, I'm not fucking arguing with you. I just got off the truck. But like the laziness, the attitude, mind you, that EMT has been an EMT less than a year. And like, I'm not one to pull certification, but there comes a certain point where I'm like, you're not going to argue with me how to take a fucking blood pressure.
Well, and just when you're so patently wrong.
Well,
like science, bitches. It just doesn't fucking work like that.
Well, and I've been wrong about statistics let me finish. In information, it's not just about being wrong. It's the fact that you're going to be arrogant. You're told you're wrong. You're told the pathophysiology of why it doesn't work, and then you double down anyways.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just about the initial of being wrong. Like, if you're wrong, say I'm sorry, accept, the scientific proof, and then get over it. But to double down, but also just, I'm perfect. I've never been wrong. Let me show you. Like, please do, you little bitch. That I could probably sit on him and kill that child. I was so fucking mad. But anyways, point being, all certifications need to stop being lazy. I don't care if you're an EMT, an EMR, a firefighter, a bystander, critical care. God, critical care. Don't get me wrong. Not everybody. But I feel like the lower the cert and the higher the cert. Like, yeah, paramedics are in the middle and act like paragods with certain ones. But if you work for a service that does critical care, you have people on both ends of the spectrum, regardless of certification.
It's because there's so few of them, the divergence is more obvious.
Yeah.
Kind of like we talked about with, like advanced EMTs versus EMTs and paramedics. There's such a small cross-section, and then you think, well, critical care is an even smaller sliver of that. So literally there's no middle ground. It's you're getting all one or all the other, and that's it.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I think when you're lazy, you make more work for yourself. At the end of the day, it's not hard. Sorry. Don't mind me. It's not hard to, if you get in a habit of doing your job, like, okay, sure, I don't believe in over ALSing stuff. I don't. But I got into such a good rhythm in the early days of my career of how to do a, quote, basic ALS call. It's not super complex. You're not having to give a whole fuck ton of meds. It's just hey, this is a chest pain. It's a basic breather call. It's whatever. You just get used to doing that over and over and over and over and over again. So doing the right thing is not fucking complicated. I'm sorry. Like, all of you little fuckers that complain about, I had to write an ALS chart. Like, I'm sorry. It literally is so, documenting interventions Okay, now for a graphic, intense cardiac arrest, okay, fair point. That's a bitch.
Or a breather call, or an RSI.
I would go with RSI. Regular breather call is not as much, but like, when if it's a bad cardiac arrest and you're documenting like 20 med administrations, okay, cool, I'll give it to you. That's a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
But chest pains, regular breather calls, your basic GI calls, even traumas, like as far as interventions go,
Mm-hmm.
generally speaking, it's not that much more.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that much more. And, unless you write a novel for your report.
Shut up.
I'm also. Other than that, it's not that much extra work. So quit being a bitch about it. Like.
Well, and that's on the documentation side. Like, how are you going to be with his call? How are you going to be a first provider on scene, put the pads on, and stand there and wait? Like, do one person CPR at minimum. If you don't get the BVM out, at least do hands only CPR. It's been scientifically proven that that's effective for at least a couple minutes. Now, like, how are you gonna do nothing?
I will say, if it's an unwitnessed arrest,
well, I'm talking about his that's witnessed.
Yeah. If it's an unwitnessed arrest, and nobody was doing CPR, I will put the pads on first. Well, and just check it and see. Okay, cool. It's viable. Awesome. Let's jump on it.
Well, same. I'm talking about with his that, is a blatant witnessed arrest. Yeah. Fine if you want to put the pads on first to see, because you put the pads on first if it's VFib shock, but like, or VTAC. But, how are you just going to do all that and then stop? Yeah. Like, you can do hands only CPR. Like, how fucking lazy. And then to complain the whole time, like, I like doing medicine. When I complain about a call, it's the charting. It's not the medicine. It's the fucking charting.
But I also think too that if you have a good relationship with the crews that you're responding with, you actually end up doing less work, because the people that you get along with and you take the time to be polite and respectful and professional with them, not, oh, dear sir, would you mind fetching me a cup of tea, please? Not that kind of like fucking professional, respectful. I'm saying when you genuinely treat them like human beings and value them and thank them for helping you, I've found that those are the folks who will do anything for me. Mm-hmm. And I truly can stand back and kind of take stock of everything and coordinate, orchestrate everything, not because I'm being lazy, but because I can genuinely delegate. Mm-hmm. I can delegate safely and be like, okay, big picture, this is what we got going on, this is what I'm thinking, you guys good with that? Okay, cool, let's do it. Like, it's not super complicated.
Well, and like on the laziness side, on a non-critical call, when you should be getting those relationships, if you go out and it's a BLS call and the crew gets on scene, don't just fucking leave. Help them move the patient. Let one get demographics who's writing the call, talk to the patient. Help move the patient. If they need a stair chair, either help with the stair chair, or if only two of them are lifting, grab the bags. Yeah. Grab your fucking bags. And like, if I'm doing something and a firefighter or one of the EMTs or something grab my bags, like without me noticing, and I turn around and they're like, disappeared. Mm-hmm. Once I find where they are, I always thank them. Because I never expect, like, especially if I carry stuff in, I never expect somebody to carry my shit out. And you should be carrying your stuff in on all calls.
So funny.
Except like psych.
Funny story about that where as a rule, and anybody who's worked with me knows this, fires on scene, I am thanking them every single fucking time.
As it should be.
And I am not crawling up their ass. I treat them respectfully. I don't treat them like stretcher fetchers. And I work at a fire department part-time too, so I come to appreciate the fact that, hey, you know what? Different strokes, different folks. But there was one time I was really petty. And it was bad. So one particular fire department had a habit of blocking us in, or blocking the driveways. So I may or may not have blocked them in with my ambulance one time.
That's awesome.
It was a good time. So, mind you, not a critical patient. Ended up was going to be a waiver. And so fire department takes all our stuff out. It's like, hey, cool, that's awesome. And I think I had like the monitor still inside or something. And I go out to, I was taking something back to the truck. And my truck was gone.
Did they move it?
Oh, they did. They moved it, like, the way the house was set up, there was, like, a main road that the, like, main driveway was on, but then there was, like, a back, like, side driveway on the other side of the house.
Mm-hmm.
They parked that bitch all the way back there. Didn't say a single fucking thing. I was fucking livid. Like, legitimately,
yeah.
like, okay, all bets off, jokes aside, you don't fucking do that shit.
Yeah.
You don't fucking move my truck, my way of getting the fuck out of here, or being able to do anything with patients. You don't move my shit without telling me.
Yeah.
I was a little upset about that.
That's not okay, though.
No, it's not.
Like, if you need to move it, you at least have to communicate.
Yeah,
or
which I'm fine
move it.
with. I'm fine with that.
Yeah. It, at minimum, communicate.
Fucking communicate with me, though.
Yeah.
So, anyway, all that to say, the petty bullshit needs to stop. And if you're in an agency where you are an ALS provider on a QRV and you just generally have a problem with the service that you have to work with, suck it the fuck up. Be a goddamn professional. Focus on your patients. I don't give a damn about your petty bullshit. If you walk in acting like you're all that in a bag of fucking chips, you're fucking not. Because this job is not just about what you can do, which usually those motherfuckers aren't that good at patient care anyway. The ones that are out there like, oh, I'm all this. You're not. You don't deserve to be around me. I'm too good for you.
I'm too good to do compressions.
Oh my fucking god! I just fucking boils my blood. Stop doing that shit.
That's why his beard's red.
All the rage went to the beard. That's why I don't. That's why I don't have road rage that much anymore. Is it all went to the beard?
Oh my God. Which is hilarious because his actual hair on top of his head is not red.
It's not. Everybody. That's the funny thing is, but when I have hair up here, people think it's red. But I'm like, cover up the face. Is it actually red? They just see this and think it's all red, but it's not.
Which is hilarious because I'm the Irish one. Daniel's not.
I'm Welsh with other Scandinavian shit in there.
I'll say I'm a mutt.
We even get a little German in there too. But that's the whole.
Besides, we sidestepped.
Anyway, don't move people's fucking trucks without asking them.
Well,
welcome to my TED Talk. Thank you.
Well, and don't dick measure because 9 times out of 10,
patients lose.
Well, patients lose, but also the ones that are being super loud about my dick is bigger, they're usually the micro penis ones, and the ones that are more quiet have bigger dicks than you could ever care to have. Like, if you're somebody on scene, we've heard this before, where somebody's on scene and it's a critical patient, this provider would get more worked up. And when you say something to this provider, what was it?
Oh no, his whole thing was, well, it's an emergent call, so you have to I can't remember what he says, like you basically you have to escalate the energy. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
The more intense it is, the more you bring the energy down, you dumbass.
Yeah. Yeah. The bigger dick measuring you do, more than likely the smaller it is.
Yeah. So anyway, don't be lazy. I understand we all get tired. We all get cranky. I get tired. I get cranky. I don't do well close to midnight. Not even after, just close to it. I don't do well. But
don't let
put your patients first.
I was say, don't let everybody know that you have a micro penis. Don't participate in No Nut November because then you just get even more pissy with your tiny penis.
Yeah. So, anyway, if you learned something, good. Share it with your friends. If you're offended, good. Probably should be.
I feel like we should name this episode The Penises. I don't know.
Dick's last retort.
I don't know, because we started with No Nut November, and then just kind of,
Yeah.
I don't know. Have a good night.
See ya. Bye.